This video will provide you with an introduction to algebra tiles. The purpose of algebra tiles is to make abstract concepts more concrete. We can use algebra tiles to help us with a variety of mathematical concepts. These concepts are often abstract and sometimes tricky, so the algebra tiles make the concepts more concrete because you can actually interact with the variables. So let's look at the different tiles that you have. Let's start with this one. This has a dimension of 1 by 1. So its area would be 1 squared or 1. So we're going to call it the 1 unit tile since that's its area. Similarly, this has a side length of 1, but then it has a height of y. So 1 times y would be y, so we would call this the y tile. In the same way, this is 1 by x, so this would be the x tile. This shape has both a base and height of x. So x times x is x squared, so we'll refer to this shape as x squared. Similarly, this has a side length of y by y, so it would be referred to as y squared. And then finally, this has one side is x, the other side is y, so to find the area would be xy, so we'd refer to this as the xy tile. Remember, we are naming the algebra tiles by their area, so really all of their areas would be square units. In other words, this would be x square units, or x squared square units. To make it simpler, we're just going to call this the x tile and the x squared tile. But remember, we're naming them by area, so all of them are really square units. We can also look at the perimeters of algebra tiles. So here are the perimeters of the different shapes. Notice that when we're talking about perimeter, we're counting the outside and adding them up and combining like terms. We can use the algebra tiles to help us understand combining like terms. But remember, when we refer to an algebra tile, we're referring to its area. So this would be called the y squared tile. Its area is y squared square units. However, its perimeter is 4y. The algebra tiles do not have a set unit length. When you measure it alongside the ones, it's kind of somewhere between 3 and 3.5, 4. We don't know exactly the dimension, so we say it's an unknown length. Watch this video to illustrate to you that really the side length could be any side. So remember, when you're dealing with x or y, remember that's an unknown side length. It could really be any number. Now, keep in mind that x and y could represent any number. To help you think of this visually, look at these different composite figures made up of tiles. These shapes, x represents 2.5. So notice the sizes of the x's and the x squareds. Where in these composite figures, x represents 10. So you can see how the size of the shapes change. So remember that x could be any number, and think in the back of your mind that that length is just a length that can represent any unknown number. Same way with y. Also notice that some of the tiles are squares. This is 1 times 1 or 1 squared, x times x or x squared, and y times y or y squared, where other shapes are rectangles, the xy and the x times y. Finally, some of the tiles have a colored side. Those we refer to as the positive side, so this would be a positive x squared. If you flip all the tiles over, they have a red side. Red we will refer to as negative, so this would be negative x squared. Think about the saying, a company is in the red. That means it owes money. So the red side of the tile means negative.